to episode 2 of the Barely Normal podcast.
My neighbour's headboard is banging, might as well get up.
Neighbours, everybody's got to be a good neighbour.
Go wake the girl and go stretch, watch the world wake up.
I have a rabbit. She gets grumpy if I don't wake her with snacks. Yeah. It's amazing how much tranquility can be kept between two neighbours with the value of a sock or even just a towel put behind their headboard. But it's not really even, it's not even that. It's not even that it's 4 o'clock in the morning and, I'm already tired. It's just that I would like I just like some quiet that time in the morning, to do things that I want to do, like sleep. Is that too much to ask? But the real annoying thing, the thing that gets under my skin, is that they speed up. You know what I'm talking about. And it makes the whole thing predictable, which is kind of nice because, let's face it, at 4 in the morning, your brain isn't really working. And you kind of want to know when things are going to wrap up so that you can go back to sleep. And it's just too much effort to, bang against the wall. And I've tried that and it doesn't seem to work. And I don't really want to go and knock on the door and, good for them. I want people to be happy. Good for them. Get joy where you can. Life can be hard. But maybe try to be a little bit more considerate. Yeah. I did once. There were neighbours that neighbours in their 20s, and they were vaguely adjacent to my flat, and their window was open, as was mine, and I got an earful one day while I was trying to work, and it was difficult work, and it was made more difficult by less blood in my brain. So I thought I'd be cute or something, and I wrote this letter saying, please close the window next time. I think with a little drawing of a window or something. And they did. And good for them. I miss it a little bit. Well, we moved, but... shame. Yeah, get joy where you can in life. That being said, I wonder... okay, there's this show on YouTube. Well, there's many on YouTube. But I saw one, I think, called Soft White Underbelly. And it really hit me. It's interviews with people who live on the fringes of society, I suppose. Like pimps and drug addicts, porn stars. And it's a very frank but open and non-judgmental conversation. And the interviewer seems to really go out of their way to help. But a recurring theme that I noticed was that almost all of these people had damage when they were younger, trauma, and emotional trauma, or physical, I suppose, or sexual trauma. And in a way, they were trying to heal themselves by trying to find joy in things that were similar to the way that they were injured. Yeah, it's interesting. And they often spoke about them trying to heal their trauma through this, in a way. So it would be really interesting to see if we start figuring out how we can prolong life, a good, healthy life. Just imagine if we learn how to live for 1,000 years. And I'm not saying everybody's going to go through their dirty whore phase, but what if you spend 200 years doing that and healing yourself. If it does heal you, I have no idea. Maybe people just don't live long enough, or it's such a dangerous environment and it's so hard to get out of that people don't. But yeah, maybe we would have a different view of some of these things if we just lived longer, you know. Like we would probably have a very different view of alcohol if we lived much shorter, you know, or smoking. It's like if smoking still took, 10 years off your life or whatever. But yeah, it seems so, not that I'm in defense of smoking. Oh, have you seen, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's amazing. A movie called Thank You for Smoking. It's quite an old movie. I think it's from like 2000, early 2000s. But it's about this guy who, his job is to basically defend smoking on behalf of big tobacco. And he does it in such clever ways. It's like, there's no direct link between these things. Your parents say that smoking is bad. Do they hold degrees and specialities in this field? Yeah, it was it's an interesting movie. They're not for everybody, I suppose. I seem to like the more meta kind of stuff. Chances are, if you know me, I've spoken to you about Gödel Escher Bach by Douglas Hofstadter. Really great book about how complexity is created from simplicity. And I suppose it's kind of, and he uses, mathematics, art and music as analogies for this rising complexity. I think it won a Pulitzer. It's a cool book, but there's a lot of little riddles, and it's never been, I don't think it's been translated into other languages because there are a whole bunch of little riddles and clues and gags hidden in the language, which is pretty great. And anybody can pretty much read it. It'll take a while. It takes a while. I haven't finished it. I'm enjoying it. But it's right up there with Catch-22. Well, yeah, I do like things kind of meta. The great thing with Catch-22, if you don't know the book, it's set in World War II, and the only way to get out of flying crazy missions is to be sent home if they say that you're crazy. But the problem is, if you are crazy, then you wouldn't ask to be sent home, and that's the Catch-22. And the whole book is just filled with those. This guy dies. He's very old. It's like, but I thought you said he was a boy. He's like, well, he died. You don't get older. Yeah, I love that book. There's something about good and bad. It's one of the first things that you learn, I suppose. You learn this is good and this is bad as defining categories. And then I suppose as you get older, you learn to, well, most people learn to recontextualize that and see that it's all relative. Water is good and bad. Australia from space is red because of the oxidation event that happened ages ago because there was too much oxygen and killed a whole bunch of stuff, which is kind of crazy. I think that was part of the Cambrian Explosion or something. Yeah, I love that there's all these periods of times of explosion, of figuring out how to reuse the natural tools around us. Maybe that's just what life is. Well, anyway, I think I'm kind of running out of time, and I'm gonna go out.
My neighbour's headboard is banging, might as well get up.
and go buy some socks and give them to my neighbor.
Go wake the girl and go stretch, watch the world wake up.
If you have an iPhone, this is another shameless plug, but if you have an iPhone and you like philosophy, or you're curious about it, especially Stoicism, go check out thestoicapp.com. And I built this app. It's free, and there's a lot of stuff in it, and people have said some very, very, very nice things about it. So go check it out, thestoicapp.com. And if you like it, please rate it and let me know what you think. And have a wonderful day. And I will see you next